tell me one thing, and I know the because you just mentioned it, how the um, materialism, and like how do you detach from materialism in Western cultures to avoid that, getting the next big thing, the next iPhone, the next car, the next whatever
Yep.
is impacting your happiness.
So
I
sorry,
think I'm
what was the
asking
question?
this
Sorry, Alex.
especially, how do you um, avoid that trap? How do you work around not moving towards um, being happy through materialism? How do
Good.
you teach kids? How do you make that as a value in your family, and even at work? Right, the next promotion might probably not make you happier, maybe for a short time, but not like it will last a couple of weeks and then you're the same thing again.
I think what I'll tell my son and daughter is that aim for that promotion, aim for that Ferrari, aim for the iPhone 32, aim for the latest whiz bang gizmo. Do it, do it again, do it again. Keep buying, do whatever you want, and let's have a chat afterwards. And by all means, their personality might dictate the fact that they just love this stuff, and that keeps them going. So be it. One of my kids might go, you know what? After buying that fifth Porsche, Dad, I think they're all the same. I'm not going to do that. I think if I then were to decouple that specific question, Alex, and parlay it into something a bit more sort of holistic. Now, personally, for me, I'm very thankful that I've experienced those things in the past. And to me, I don't see value in it. But that doesn't say that someone who does it is just stupid, because that's not my journey. That's each to their own. But getting back to your question about how do we teach people the inadequacies, so to speak, of materialism and always wanting more, right? I would recommend that person to really go down that path and to be materialistic, to be arrogant, to just go down a certain path. And hopefully there are lessons along the way, and to be open, and he or she might pick up what that lesson may be. That's the only thing I would really say to that. Because
Sure. Yeah. And I think the Kookaburra in the back applauded to that statement.
that's right.
By the way,
I live in a very bushy area.
Kookaburras are my favorite birds, because as you know, my wife is Australian. We spent a year and a bit during the last couple of years in Australia, and it's just I love it. Same with the song Kookaburras. It's in the old country, which is the favorite song
I
of
actually
my
have a
son, but
swimming
that's a
pool.
whole different topic.
I actually have a swimming pool, Alex.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
it is dirty as it's probably like a dark green. You probably know where I'm leaning towards, right?
Very good.
Because my concern is that if I clean it, I have to constantly maintain it, right? So getting back to kookaburras, I believe that they actually help me clean the surface of the water. Because obviously over time, right, when you don't clean the pool, there's a lot of stuff growing on the surface, right? And I can always see them in the morning just picking stuff up the surface, right? So I'm a fan because they're helping me clean the pool somehow.
Good.
And so what's your answer to that question? If I were to sort of flip it back on you, what would you do?
Yeah, I think it's you have to experience it. I think that's the only way how we learn. It's so interesting. Sometimes my son says, "Daddy, I had to learn it myself." Where I'm telling after he bumped his head somewhere, or he did something and it completely failed. Right, it failed to the point that he is in tears. And initially I found myself answering, well, buddy, we talked about this, I told you. And then he tells me, Daddy, I had to learn it myself. And that is for me was yet another thing where, like, okay, Daddy, just shut up.
Just
Don't
shut up,
say
Dad.
things.
Shut up,
You
Dad.
know, they I just don't say things like that. They have to learn themselves, and it's with a lot of things, right? And if it, as you said, if it makes them happy, it makes them happy, and then let it be part of their life. And then I think it's you know, the people around who can still give some guidance and show that, you know, materialism can be interesting, can be fulfilling, but try out this as well, because there are other things that might be equally interesting, and that's the way to go. Is it hard? Yes, I think it
It
is,
always is.
especially in the world we live. But that's the way it is. Life isn't easy.
No, no, no. And, you know, obviously a second child now. What have you learned about yourself?
That the second child can be as cute as the first one. That you you know, you experience helps you to remove the pressure.
It does.
Right, coming back to the topic that we had earlier, that there are certain things you don't forget. You don't forget how to change nappies. You don't forget how to, you know, feed a baby. Once you've done it once, you can do it twice.
You and I can do
do
it blindfolded now. We can do it blindfolded.
Yeah, yeah. And that for me, family, and especially being 4, it's just you come home and there are people who smile at you and want you home. Is probably one of the most amazing things. And there's and it's probably also, so my mom is Russian, and her family was always very, very close. So was a family on my dad's side who's German, and I think that family understanding and understand what you have with the family, that, you know, where you can just rely on each other, and where it's just good to be there and spend time together, is it's just super helpful. And that's something that we try to drive at home. So there's almost no TV time, there's no display time. Although my son asked me the other day, Daddy, when you come back from your work trip, can you bring me a real iPad? I'm like, okay. He's 3, but and so yeah, I think obviously it is a different. The second kid adds an additional layer, and especially because they're pretty close, 2 years, 2.5 years. The even the bigger one still needs a lot of attention. It's not that you can plonk him with friends and then he's out.
Yeah,
out and
you can't
about,
just sit him on a chair and
right?
go, hey, read the book.
Exactly. But it needs a lot of engagement, and integration of everything together. But that's also something that you learn, and that is something where you can build relationships between the siblings, and I think that ultimately, again, long term, will just be super nice. And obviously, as my brother said, 4 is always good, because then the car is full and you still have a place to, you know, take somebody with you. I'm like, okay, that is the first reaction when I tell you that we're expecting a new kid, that 4 is nice because your car is full.
Very practical.
But that's a different, that's practical. That's being
But
German,
I'm not too
practical.
sure whether someone can fit into the middle seat if you've got 2 baby seats on the sides.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But for the car was full.
Okay, so it's okay if you're going to tell. Are you going to tell me you're going to get like a 7-seater or a 7-seater multi-van? Then go for it.